What's up, brothers? JK with PornReboot here. Just a quick video, and really a quick one, I hope, to give my brothers in the struggle some pointers on not just surviving these times as a recovering porn addict or a man who's struggling with any sort of out of control sexually compulsive behavior, but how to thrive in these times. I love a crisis, not because of the suffering it brings. I love it for a more selfish reason. I love it because as a man who has rebooted and been through the pain, the lows and the highs of this journey, I understand that adversity is where you will shine as a man who is rebooting. If you have learned to embrace adversity and suffering, you will understand that on the other side of it, there is always great growth. There is always joy, there is happiness, there is true satisfaction. And this truly may not be a time for adversity, but it may be a time, or rather an opportunity for adversity, and I embrace it as such. But I will summarize my philosophy on this in two simple words, or rather two simple sentences, excuse me. I want to keep it simple as I usually try to. Wherever there is fear, replace it with certainty. And wherever there is doubt, replace it with confidence. I will say that again. Wherever there is fear, replace it with certainty. Wherever there is doubt, replace it with confidence. This is actually how you cross that last barrier when it comes to your reboot. Because whenever you find yourself in a situation where you feel that you have no control over your situation, fear, where you are not sure if you're ever going to end this behavior, doubt, there are only two solutions: certainty and confidence. And that is my job. My job is to give you, fill you with it, confidence and certainty in every area of your reboot and your life as it relates to ending your out of control behavior. So how do you apply this in your life? Well, it's very simple. One of the ways that you can do that, and this is literally what I did about 4 days into this when this became a panic. And just so you guys know, I was in Asia prior to coming back here. Don't worry, I got tested, I'm negative. But I was in Asia prior to coming back here, and it wasn't that huge of a panic. It's a panic there now. But once I got to the US, after about 3 days, things got a little crazy, and a little bit of fear and doubt whispered to me from deep within. Immediately, I went back. I fell back on that. I was like, okay, there's some fear and there is some doubt. And I want you to do the same thing. Sit down and write out your fears. Why do you write your fears down? Because if you do not write them out, they will grow. They will grow. Procrastination of any sort gives fear a chance to grow. Write out your doubts. And when you write out your fears, you need to find certainty in something. You need to. I don't know what your fears are. In fact, one of the things that we're doing in our group is I'm taking questions from guys. So if you're a member of our group, join the Facebook group. There's a link to it in the description below. And if you have a fear that you don't know how to gain certainty on, come in and ask your question. And I will respond via video within the group. That's the first thing. The second is write out your doubts. What are you doubtful about? Are you doubtful that you will make it through this period financially? Do you have doubt in that area about your ability to survive economically? Some of you may have some fears about your mental health, that now so many things have been taken away from you, so many methods of self-care. Some of you might be extroverts. Some of you may have some things that are so important to you on the outside that you cannot engage in anymore. And you fear for the effect it may have, the impact on your mental health. You need certainty. Something some replacement, some mindset that will bring you peace. Again, we can help you with this in the Facebook group if you cannot do it on your own. But I highly recommend that you do it on your own. Now, one of the ways that I've dealt with this personally is after writing everything down, I realized that the best thing would be to look at the worst case scenario. I'm not going to go into any details or get into a back and forth with anyone about any of the details of this. Everybody should know what I'm talking about by now. But I imagined the worst case scenario, and I simply asked myself, number one, am I able to live with that worst case scenario? Whatever it is for you, do the same thing. And in my mind came the thought, yes, but it would be uncomfortable. It would not be a great feeling. Then I asked myself, would I be able to adjust to that discomfort and eventually find a way to make it a part of my regular life? And I thought back to many things in my life that at first were very, very uncomfortable, and I refused to live that way. But eventually I adjusted, and I still was happy. And so I looked at these worst case scenarios, these things that I was really fearful of. And I was like, you know what? I could adjust to that. I could be happy. And once the possibility of happiness was there, and the certainty that I would make the attempt to adjust as a human being, the fear went away. Of course, these are ideals. We don't know what exactly our lives are going to look like. But the purpose of this exercise is very simple. We want to gain certainty, and we want to gain confidence. All right? So that's how I dealt with my fears. And then I was able to step up in a huge way, accepting the fact that I was going to grow during this time. One of the things that helped with that was examining some of my doubts. And I won't share what my doubts were, but we all have our little doubts. And if you don't have any doubts, if this thing extends for a longer period of time, they will start creeping up. So I decided I was going to preemptively attack all my doubts, which I did. I examined all of them, understanding that doubts are best replaced with confidence. And I simply reframed the way that I viewed it. Reframing, which I'll be sharing in an upcoming video, is simply the process of changing the way you view a new situation. A situation which has come up. It comes from as reframing a picture. You change your house, you have a picture, it's in a frame which matched the old house, so you change the frame so that it matches the new house. Same thing. There are some doubts based on some situation which is happening in my life. My life has changed. So the way I view certain things which are in frames, I simply need to change the frame of those different aspects of my life. So let's say your fear is financial. Your fear is a fear about your relationship. Your fear is a fear about your business or your career. Well, your business or your career is a picture that's always been in the house that is your life. All you need to do is change the frame. Again, if you don't know how to do that yourself, join the group. We'll help you do that. Or get on a call with one of my reboot specialists. We were reframing before this even became a thing. We reframe guys' situation as just a normal part of our reboot sessions when we're talking to men about how to control their behavior. And so that's what I did, and that's how I dealt with my doubt. So brothers, that's it. It's that simple. Wherever there is fear, replace it with certainty. Wherever there is doubt, replace it with confidence. Now, I can't leave you with this. I think this is also a little too simplistic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you guys with something practical. In the link of the description of this video, I've shared what I call my client crisis kit. This is a kit with some basic exercises, some basic guidelines for the things that you can do during this time. I understand that there's a lot of information out there, and some of you may have been just consuming so much information that you don't really know what to do. You see people doing certain things and you're not sure if that applies to you. Well, I've put down about 5 things that you should do in this situation, and a very simple guide on how to do them. So in case you're overwhelmed, there are a few types of guys in these situations. There are the guys who are just paralyzed. You know what a deer does when, it's crossing the road and it's hit by headlights? It freezes. Some of you are so shocked that you've frozen. In your business, in your career, in your relationship, you're no longer leading. You're just like, what the fuck is going on? Let me just wait here while hopefully things will pass. You can't do that. The longer you wait, the more the issues in your life which need momentum are going to stall, and that's going to fuck you up. You can't do that. Some people are going to get overwhelmed, stressed out, relapse, then hide your head in the sand. Those are the guys who are going to panic. And there are those who are going to take action. But sometimes you just don't know how to take action. So your action doesn't have any steps to it. You're just shooting all over the place. And because you're shooting all over the place, you end up hurting yourself. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that, let's say I'll use an analogy. Let's say you're a homeowner and somebody breaks into your house and you pull out your gun and the person starts grappling with you for the gun. Suddenly you find that you are losing the fight. The homeowner finds he's losing the fight for his gun. And so in desperation, he just starts shooting all over the place. And by accident, shoots himself. And that's the situation with some of you who are trying to take action. It's well-intentioned, but you're gonna end up hurting yourself. So please, download the kit. All right? Use it. And then hop in the Facebook group if you can and tell me how it benefited you, or ask if you need any clarity about any aspects of it, and I or my team will get back to you. I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you on the brighter side of this journey.